Hello everybody, it is I, American Wombat, back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Burst Limited. It is another limited format similar to Burst Classic, which means some parts are banned, and I will put a link to the ban list in the description. Basically what Burst Limited is supposed to be is an expansion on the Late God, Early Josie, Pre-Archer Hercules, Hell Salamander, Revive Phoenix meta that seemed to perpetuate Burst Standard for quite a while afterward and is still seen to a bit today. Limited attempts to recreate a meta without those, where it was more healthy and also an appropriate power tier for many of the Hasbro releases following the end of Evolution, with a few exceptions. This gives a wide variety of parts that can be viable in the format. As you can see here, I've gone through the trouble of collecting all of these and testing them pretty extensively, and yeah, if it's not evident, the video is going to be about all different combos, different types, I guess the theory behind the matchups and the actual matchups themselves in the meta, and most of it's going to be speculation, as there's only been 3 tournaments so far. None of them have been ranked, and we're still in the midst of figuring out how it actually plays in a tournament environment. I'm actually doing an experiment. I'll cut this part out. First I'll start off by explaining the overall meta. So for the overall Burst Limited meta, it's possibly the most complex and deep meta out of all of the Burst metas, and that's saying a lot. It combines the life after death centric meta of Standard that began when Hell Salamander, Archer Hercules, and Revive Phoenix caused opposite spin to replace defense rather than just adding to it, in the sense that you can just use an opposite spin stamina combo and weak launch it to defeat attack, rather than having to actually play a defensive combo. And it also incorporates some of these same spin strategies, such as the burst KO attack split and the stabilization, that have a lot more of a focus in Burst Classic, because that is mainly a single spin meta. A common theme of all of these parts and combos is that they trade off same spin performance for opposite spin performance. There are very few rare parts that have a lot of both, but those are generally like the 10 keystone species that are actually shown in the thumbnail of this thumbnail. So basically, to help understand it, I'll be splitting up into 3 parts: right spin, left spin, and then I guess interactions between the 2 spin directions. Alright, so first we're going to be talking about right spin, because that's what TT decided to do first, and we're going to be talking about stamina first. So for the best stamina layers are Tide Trap Tune, which I don't have, Shining or Shadow Materials is more of a defense stamina hybrid, which I also don't have, and out of the ones I do have is Deep Chaos and Kanox C3, Flame Sagittario, and then Asteroid Zutron and Galaxy Zeus. And since there are 2 main types of stamina, I forget whether I explained this in the last video clip or not, because I'm kind of making this up as I go along, but I'll be using stamina for same spin stamina and LAD for opposite spin stamina. So depending on whether you want a same spin stamina type, or if you want the stamina type, you'll be using something like Revolve or Orbit Metal to destabilize, or Atomic Dash-S, Universe, something with lots of raw efficiency, Atomic. And for that, generally, for a destabilizer, 0 is generally the best discs, because you want more centralized weight distribution and you want it to be heavy. For Atomic and Atomic Dash-S, you want to use Expand. For Universe 2, I think you want to use Cross, actually. Absorb Dash-S is also a very good driver for Hasbro. It's got the same spin stamina of Revolve and the opposite spin in the LAD of Eternal. So it's just the overall very good driver. It also uses Cross. It uses the same frames as Extend Plus does. It's very similar to Extend Plus. Wave is also a new addition. I think it works best with expand. And yeah, if you want, I guess, a LAD type, something like bearing, dimension-s, or drift, the one I do have, you could also use zone dash plus Z and Mobius if you wanted to. And for attack, there's a lot of right spin attackers, and there's a lot of attack subtypes, I guess. So let's go with KO attack first, or what I think is, I guess, mainly KO attack is, well, the only thing that's really KO attack is Hazard. This thing's really good. Buster is more of like a danger bomb type thing in my testing. If you put it on Charge, which I don't actually have on here, or Charge Dash, it's very good. Union Speed for the TT version with Gen. I use Pegasus because it's red. These are, in my opinion, probably the 3 overall best right spin attackers. These 2 are the best KO attackers. This is a weird danger bomb thing. For mixed attack, you have the Takaratomi Twin Nemesis, which can also be used on some of the taller drivers, like maybe High Defense or something, as a smash attacker with its smash mode. And then Myth, which is a bit of a mixed KO anti-attacker. There's also, this isn't actually Turbo Valtyrek, but it's Chosi Valkyrie, but it looks pretty much the same. This is pretty good, on the same level as these, about, if not a little worse. Z Achilles, some people think this is good, I don't think it is, but people were getting it to beat Archer Hercules, Slash, and then Legends Brigand. These are kind of like the, in my opinion, the tier 3 attackers. Along with Z Achilles, they're not very good. I suppose you could use this as a stationary attacker. Twin Nemesis also kind of works as stationary. The best stationary attacker for right spin, in my opinion, is Seek Excalibur on Orbit Metal. I can get this to burst most things same spin pretty consistently, aside from like some Atomic Dash S combos. I guess for KO attack, your best drivers are Extreme Dash, Extreme, Hunter Dash S, and then Evolution or Evolution Dash. If you really want to try like for the one-hit knockout with Hazard. Mixed, you can use something like Assault Dash, Hunter Dash, Zephyr Dash, the Hasbro Iron, Generate. I could see something like Union Speed Generate being good, because Union's also got some smash attack, and it needs speed, moving fast. And I guess for stationary attack, you could use Octa or something. You could use Keep Dash as a stationary attack driver. Atomic Dash S, Revolve, Orbit Metal. A lot of just the standard stationary attack drivers you see in Classic also work for stationary attack and limited. And then you also have Beat Kukulkan, which works as a pretty neat anti-attacker in limited, in that it does very well in attack versus attack, has pretty good defense, and is also fairly aggressive in and of itself. So the disc you're going to want to use on your attacker will vary a lot depending on what kind of attack you're using, because a lot of times if you're going to use a frame to match up with the contact points of your attacker, there's going to be the old disc positioning where it's on the side where the tab is, and there's going to be the Chosi non-dash disc positioning where it's 90 degrees from the tabs. So that messes up how some frames align with some layers on some discs differently, which is a real pain to work with, but it can be done. Generally, your KO attacker will want 10 or 00 because they have the most outward weight distribution. Outer could work too if you want something to be fast, but it's kind of light compared to the others. Normal 8 could be like a sleeper tier 2 pick with a good dash driver. I should try this on Hazard Curvius because that's why I use 7 on it. 7 lines up dagger on it the right way, but I could try 8 instead. Generally, mixed attack needs to manage their burst resistance a bit more, so they should use a 5 or an 8 dash, though they can also use 0, 10, or 00 if they want to specialize. 7 is just kind of the jack of all trades, and 4 is just kind of what you should only use if you don't have any of these others. Okay, so now for right spin defense, you have kind of KO defense and burst defense mixed together into one. So what I think the absolute best right spin defense combo is Maximum Garuda, actually double O, keep dash. This gives it the most stamina, and it has the smooth underside for keep dash. Keep dash has a lot of grip and the dash driver spring, and because of the way the MG slope works, imagine like a dash driver on a Hasbro slope, and you imagine how tight this thing is. And I actually like it with the stock God chip better, but it's basically a circle. It's like a 9-gram circle, but it's still a circle. You can also use something like, no, my barrier. So then you have Hercules H4, which is you can use on Atomic Dash S. You can also use Monster, which I don't have. Monster has been described as like the G2 limited. For I guess tier 2 options, you have, this is the wrong Phoenix, like 100% the wrong Phoenix, but you want Imperfect Phoenix, according to Blade Kid. You could also use Ace or Ultra Chronos. Ultra Chronos has significantly more stamina but slightly worse defense. I think Ace is just kind of bad. Drivers, your options are kind of limited, but that's how it's always been for defense. Keep dash, you have, here it is, Unite dash, which I don't have, Atomic Dash S, and then I feel like only Shadow Amaterios could really make this work, and that will probably be banned, but Octa is like a weight-based combo. And disc selection is pretty simple. If you want to just use raw weight, go with double O expand on Atomic Dash S. For Keep Dash, use double O. That's pretty much the only real option for it. And Octa can work with zero lift. And now let's get into the left spin combos. So starting off with stamina, left spin has a much smaller layer selection, so this section is going to be a lot shorter than the right spin one. Basically, the only usable left spin stamina layers are Drain Fafnir and Fafnir F3. Arc Bahamut can also work on something like Destroy Dash or Zone Dash plus Z. But that's about it for your options for raw stamina. Just Drain Fafnir on a variety of your stamina or lad driver of choice. Unless you have like the Ultra Mold Arc Bahamut, you're gonna need a dash driver to keep this thing from bursting, so that locks it to Destroy Dash and Zone Dash plus Z. Though it also makes for a decent KO defense type on Keep Dash as well. Attack. You have two main attackers, Nightmare Longinus, Luinor L3. Frames for them, Turn is my current favorite. I know a lot of the Canadians started using Turn. I don't know why it's good, but it just is amazing on Nightmare. With Evolution or Extreme Dash, this thing is a beast. Luinor L3 can use Extreme or Hunter Dash S or Evolution Dash SPM. You could use Glaive Jolt Dash on an L2. That was the setup I used at first, but I like Turn Extreme Dash so much better now. And as both your mixed and stationary attacker, you have Bloody Launchness, and it does pretty good at both. You can use it on Iron, you could use it on Reboot Dash, you can use Ultimate Reboot Dash, you could use it on Generate, Red Ninja, I think swept an entire first stage just spamming this mixed attacker here. Destroy Dash. Destroy Dash deserves like an extra special mention as the driver that can do like literally everything in this game if you wanted to. It kind of just defies type. It's like plastic RDF. For station, that was kind of a weird tangent, but yeah. For stationary, you can use Bloody on something like Orbit Metal, and for disc-wise, NL doesn't use a disc. When BL's on Generate, it doesn't use a disc. When I use BL on like Assault Dash or Hunter Dash, I usually use Outer because the thing lines up with the heads, and it kind of lines up with the Metal Dragon ring for a more OWD ring, even though it's kind of light. But BL is pretty heavy. 4 burst attack, 0. It's pretty easy. So yeah, defense. you can use Keep Dash again on Arc Bahamut or Geist Fafnir. This thing is kind of heavy, so my personal favorite defense combo is Geist Zero Lift Octa. It's, I think, the heaviest combo in Limited with a level chip. You can also use it on Keep Dash, I don't know if I said that. You could also use something like F3 on Atomic Dashes, so that's kind of like a weaker-ish burst defense type. It doesn't really help out its KO defense too much. So with KO attack, burst attack, mixed attack, KO defense, burst defense, stamina, and LAD, plus all sorts of weird hybrids between the two. For 2 spin directions, Limited has pretty much as many unique types as Gravity Perseus, TH-170, HFS has modes. So explaining how they all interact is going to be a while, but a good rule of thumb to keep in handy is that opposite spin adds 1 level of defense. So I guess what could be seen as the ultimate types in the game are KO attack versus, for right spin versus right spin stamina. It would have the highest win rate, or not the highest, not as high as like burst attack or a more same spin specialized attacker, or a mixed attacker, but it would have a relatively high win rate, but it would also have a relatively high win rate against a left spin stamina or left spin stamina defense hybrid, because it would be able to KO them through that extra layer of defense the opposite spin provided, and it would also stand a good chance against a same spin, a right spin defense stamina hybrid. The truest counter to this would be 2 layers of defense, which would be a left spin defense type. So that's what I mean by opposite spin adding an extra layer of defense. And the same goes for NL. You have to go out of your way to stop these things, but they also take a lot of skill to use correctly, which is how they're balanced in the typical way that KO attack usually is. Mixed attack, they are a mix between... They are a bit more same spin specialized than KO attack is. KO attack is a mix between same spin attack and opposite spin attack. Mixed attack is a combination of same spin, of KO attack and burst attack, so it's more specialized to same spin while being less so towards opposite spin. These things will not be able to KO an opposite spin stamina defense hybrid or defense type as reliably as a KO attacker would. However, they are more likely to burst a same spin stamina combo or stamina defense hybrid than a KO attacker would. Burst attack, these have the highest rate against stamina and LAD in same spin, just because they're able to burst them or sometimes even outspin them, because these often have like a high amount of stamina themselves. However, they perform very poorly against opposite spin, just because they don't have the directional recoil to KO the opponent most of the time, though they can occasionally. So for defense, we have gluten-free Fafnir and Maximum Garuda, and defense is pretty simple. Yeah, it's very simple. Its goal is to defeat attack regardless of specialization and regardless of spin direction, and it does its job. That's about it. Double low keep dash and Octa have enough life after death to outspin pretty much any competitive attack setup aside from like destroy dash. Octa can also outspin some atomic combos, which is nice. And this can keep dash can also destabilize some cone shaped tips and same spin, so they've got their own separate advantages, but basically they just beat attack and lose the stamina. That's it. So for stamina you have, I guess, LAD types and stamina types. LAD is kind of like the burst attack of stamina in the sense that it is designed to win against anything opposite spin, but lose to virtually anything same spin, in the sense that even a defense combo could outspin a LAD type combo in same spin. For a stamina type combo, they will generally outspin everything same spin. They may or may not outspin things in opposite spin, depending on how much lad they have, and they're generally pretty vulnerable to attack and will defeat defense. They're less vulnerable to opposite spin attack than same spin attack, obviously, just because opposite spin adds another layer of defense. So overall, like I said, in the limited meta, a common theme is trading same spin performance for opposite spin performance. And that's generally true. There's very few parts which overlook that rule. Generally those that are the most core essence of their types. I say that like Extreme Dash, Keep Dash, and Absorb Dash as are just the essential attack, defense, and stamina parts of the meta. I feel like there's pretty equal representation, at least usage in tournaments wise, or there should be, for the two spin directions despite there being a disproportionate amount of right spin layers. I also think that the limited meta, in a sense, rewards combos that rely more on player agency than just the parts being good. So this is especially good for mixed attack, which can perform decently well against pretty much anything in the game with the right amount of skill. And it also redefines what a safe combo is in the sense, because a safe combo by general is the one that can be used against all sorts of different types and have a decent win rate, just because it's easy to use, it's more difficult to counter, but with so many different types of matchups and so many different combos with like so much conditional coverage against so many different types, not much is really safe, and I feel like that opens up a lot of ways for combo diversity and just overall depth between the interactions of the parts within the format. I guess that's been it. It's been really long. I tried to stay on task. I went on a few tangents and I spoke probably longer than I should, but that's about it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, because you still can comment, and I might post some spicy combos or some other stuff. Oh, I'm definitely going to do a video about attackers, but yeah, I'll do that later. I'll see ya. Oh man, Attack on Titan confirmed.